and trust God. So we need a dirty sinner who needs to be saved. Maybe Josh. Looks like a good dirty sinner. Josh, would you come out and be a dirty sinner for us? Give him a hand. What's that? Woman of folly.
Yeah, because it's like the dirty sinner in the Bible.
Ah, yeah, that's good.
Jezebel's spirit.
Now Josh is, we're going to say, is just someone from the world. Just Josh doesn't know Jesus and comes to Jesse Duplantis meeting. Perfect.
No, Josh, you got to get in character.
Yeah. So Josh, come on over here. Come to the Jesse Duplantis meeting. He hates Christians, but he comes anyway. And Jesse says something that really touches your heart, doesn't it, Josh?
Yes.
Yeah. Aren't you touched?
Yes.
Yeah, that's gee, he looks touched, doesn't he? He's so moved. And wipe away a tear or two. And and Jesse says something and says, if you want to get to know Jesus, you need to come out the front right now. And Josh is so moved, he gets out of his seat and comes out the front and comes and Jesse says a prayer and Josh repeats it after him. And so we're now in this moment where Josh has responded to the altar call. And so thus begins the system. Thus begins the plan. So rather than this altar call just happening and then saying, all right, that's great, now go back to your seat and live a life as a follower of Jesus, we're going to say, and still hate Christians. No, you love Christians now, mate. You're a Christian. You're right into it. We're going to say everyone who responded to this altar call, rather than just going straight back to your seats, we're going to say go out of the auditorium and through to the furnace. And we're going to have a nice big sign there saying, follow this man. It'll probably be Dad. We might get him to wear like a turkey hat or something, like follow that man. And what's that?
Business as usual.
Yeah.
Meetings.
Yeah, we haven't got to the different part yet. So follow him out. So Josh follows Dad out to the furnace. And there we have everyone congregate who has responded to the altar call. And so when Josh goes out to the furnace with other people, he's going to receive one of these. So you can hold that up. And this is a little card that says my response. Should we hand these around or?
Just in case anyone wants to get saved tonight.
Yeah, Jay, pass around that way. And everyone who responds to the altar call and comes to the room is going to be handed one of these cards. And it's very simple. Basically what it asks you is, what's your name, what's your phone number, and are you single? No, it doesn't say that. And it asks,
what's your stars?
Do you hate Christians? Do you go for Collingwood?
I'll bring my own card.
That's the later, the follow-up. And so you'll see, ask them just for the simple details, name and phone number. We're not getting anything else, keeping it as simple as possible. And then asking them to tick a box that relates to where they are right now. So this helps us, like remember we said before, to determine where these people are actually at. So we've got 5 options. A, I'm still exploring. So this is, I actually don't know what I believe still. I've sort of done this, but I've still got questions. I'm not actually ready to commit to Jesus, but I'm obviously interested enough to put my hand up at an event. B, I'm ready to start following Jesus. So today I decided I'm going to begin following Jesus. So I'm a new Christian. C, I'm coming back to Jesus. So this is someone says I used to follow Jesus, but now I'm coming back. D, I'm refreshing my commitment. So I'm already a Christian. Today I'm just refreshing that. Or E is other. In case there's anyone who doesn't fit into one of those 4 categories, they can just fill that out. So straight away now we're going to have this. Josh is going to give this card, and we'll talk a little bit more. We'll walk through the whole process with Josh, but we'll talk a little bit more about how we're going to use this and process this later on. So what Dad's going to do is Dad will stand up there with or without his turkey hat, and he's going to say to everyone, you've got one of these cards.
And a pen.
And a pen. Everyone will get a card and a pen. And we'd love you just to fill out your name, your number, and tick the box and come and give it to one of our team. If you give
and there's a commitment on there that just to be.
Yep. Yeah. So so give it to one of our team. There's a commitment on there that says, and we'll reiterate this to them in person, that with their details, we promise that their details will never be distributed to anyone else, and we will not be using. And then we sell them for all the.
Who's your worst enemy?
Yeah, but they'll be getting.
No privacy policy.
Yeah, exactly.
To other people who fake Christians.
And we're not going to put them on any mailing list or database. So these people are not going to start receiving our church email updates or church texts or anything else. But we say all that we promise to do is we will give you one phone call. Anything beyond that is on your terms. So we're basically saying if you give us this, we would love to just find out where you're at and we'll be able to just call you once. Beyond that, it is completely your call. That's all we ask for, is just to be able to give you one call to help you follow up the commitment you've made tonight. So hopefully they will say, yep, Josh, is that all right with you? You're gonna.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
You guys seem alright.
Not like the other dirty Christians. Yeah. So Josh, come on to the team. So he's filled out his details.
Do you reckon that lands pretty
We're going to exchange that card for one of these nifty little packs. Have a look in there. Dad, do you want to talk about what's in the pack? You can
Okay, so Josh, can you show what's in the pack? Josh?
model the pack for us.
Model.
Oh, that's vintage
If
2019.
you'd like to hydrate,
Okay, so this is a special thing. This is called Next Step.
The scab's journal.
congratulations. We're ready and excited. It's next steps. I won't.
So-
Do you want to explain that? Dad?
Okay, so what we've done here is we've updated this from what we used to do, because what we've said now is we're going to focus on 3 categories. The first, they are just curious. They've actually responded, but they're actually not ready to follow Jesus.
So that's A on the response
You know,
card.
like, B, they actually say, I'm making a decision to follow Jesus, or C, I've
So
I'm
C
re-
is if they've already followed Jesus, but they're
But
just...
yeah, and they want to move forward with that. And then the last one we just say come to church, because that's what it applies to everybody. That's a good thing. But what it does is we said, listen, we encourage you to take a next step. We've put this in here as a bit of a backup, and also gives them something. If they go home that night, they can pull this out, and if they're really hungry and God's really touched them, they can go on the website right then and start looking and doing and listening and start following. Because some people will be like, this is so exciting, I'm going to start at 4 a.m. and think about what I've just done. So we're giving them at least something to harness that and use that. It's also just in case our next system, which is a phone call, we can't
Yep.
get in touch with them, or they don't give us a phone number that's accurate or something like that. At least we've given them something that they can take a step with. So everything's based around giving them an opportunity to take another step towards following Jesus. So this is the next step. It's focused on those 4 things. So we want to get those. We want to get that into their hands. And so that's part of that pack. What else? And Josh, what else is in there?
We got cards
Yeah.
for all of our programs at the church. And it also plays in the service. And we've got a book, Why Jesus?
And that's the
Book of
gospel,
Mark.
the book of Mark. So that's the Gospel of Mark. So they're going to get this little pack, which is just like a bit of a get you started sort of pack. And what's going on there? That's all right. And so Josh, if you just hold up this one for us again for a minute. So the next steps. And this is something that you'll see. You've probably seen the table at. Sorry. You've probably seen the table at church, and something we're introducing and trying to help develop into the culture and life of our church is this idea of next steps, so that everyone, wherever you are in your walk with Jesus. What's that? Maybe they want to take the next step. Yeah, they're pretty keen. That wherever you are in your walk with Jesus, there is always a next step for you. So, like we said, when these people come in, we don't know exactly where they'll be. They might be just curious. They might be starting to follow Jesus. But we want to have an ecosystem and have something ready that everyone, wherever they are, there's always a pathway for them. So you'll see on our website now, we've got this new menu item, Next Steps, and all these different steps that people can take. And we'll talk a little bit more about these later on. So the first one could be just curious. And so they say, that's the first one. I'm just curious. I still don't really know what I believe. You can go in there, watch a nifty little video of Dad talking about you being just curious. is he? Oh, he's really glad we're here. Isn't that cool? And going a bunch of questions. Who is Jesus? Why should I trust the Bible? All this sort of stuff. And down here it says, are you ready for your next step? Who's that good looking for? Oh, it's me. Anyway. And as you're exploring your questions, here are some other great steps you can take. So you could look at a small group, chat to someone, chat to a real person. Say, I'm ready to follow Jesus. And you go to that one, it'll take you to the next page where it says, actually now I'm ready to follow Jesus. So we've got a couple of videos missing on there still. But then I'm ready to follow Jesus. What do I do next? I could get baptized. I could come along to a small group. So we're building a pathway so that everyone who comes in, it says there's a next step ready for you. Wherever you are, there's a next step. So that's what this is introducing them to. That worst case, even if we never get to speak to this person again, they've at least been given the opportunity and resource to be able to take a next step and be able to do that. But that's like our worst case scenario, is that they use that. Our best case is that, well, what happens to Josh. So come on back over, Josh. So Josh has, he's taken his pack home. He's enjoyed having a look on the website and reading the books. But what's happened is that all of these little cards are going to be collated, and Kyra is actually going to be in charge of this process. So you'd all better treat her pretty well, because she's going to be a pretty solid slave driver, I dare say. And she will have gone through his cards and collated all the people that have responded to these. And then some people are going to be, basically we're going to have a team of people who will phone up these people and remember we said we'd make that one phone call. So we'll give them their one phone call. And so someone's going to call Josh. Yeah. It's like in prison, isn't it, Josh?
You get your one phone call.
Just takes me back to 2009, eh?
boy.
And so Josh might get a call. So bring. He answers. Hello, this is Josh. Hello, Josh. It's Caleb here from Breakthrough Church. I saw you responded the other night, and I just wanted to give you a call and have a chat.
Yes.
Yep, cool. And I'm going to have a quick chat with Josh. And what I'm basically going to do is try and establish exactly where he's at. So again, we've got a bit of a system for this. We might go through now, or
Yeah, we can do that now.
Yeah, or
Yes.
shall we walk through the process and then go through that?
All right, skip. So we've got a system and we get an answer.
Yeah.
We'll go back then.
So I'll have a chat with Josh and ask him a few questions, sort of get to know him a bit, find out where he's at, and then come to the end of that call and basically at the end of that call be able to determine, all right, where is Josh at? Our aim is to be able to get Josh into that disciple cycle. That's the aim of all these phases, is to get him into that disciple cycle. And so I can say, all right, I'll know some key things like Josh is a local person. Josh is from around here. He's only just started following Jesus. He doesn't have another church. And so we want to help connect him into the disciple cycle and what's happening at Breakthrough. So at the end of that call, I'll say, now Josh, I have that's been great to chat to you. You know, really glad you can have a look at these resources and stuff. Josh, I've got a mate, Cam, from church, and he's a similar age to you, in a sort of similar life position. He would really love to be able to chat with you and get to know you a bit and just help you out a bit as you're beginning this journey following Jesus. Would it be okay with you if I gave your number to Cam, and Cam maybe gave you a call and could catch up with you and he could sort of help you out a bit with his journey? Now Josh may say, no, I only want one phone call. My prison days don't let me do any more than that. That's all, in which case I say, look, that's fine. If you change your mind, let us know. But if he says, yep, yeah, that's cool, I'd love to chat to Cam, then Josh has then transferred into the next phase, or the final phase, which is where Cam will then be able to come alongside Josh as a bit of a partner or a buddy to sort of help him get into this disciple cycle. So Cam, what would then to happen to Josh, and again, we'll go through this in a bit more detail and sort of show you guys how it all works in a couple of minutes. But Josh would then a couple of days later get a call from Cam, and so he says, hello, Josh speaking. It's Cam from Breakthrough Church. You know, I heard from Caleb that you've made this decision, and I'd love to help you out a bit because, you know I would have loved to have someone when I was just starting this journey. You know, he'll chat to you a bit, find out, you know, where you're from and what's happening and stuff. And Cam would then say something like, hey, look, on Saturday morning, I'm going to go for a bushwalk with some of the guys from church. Are you free? Would you like to come along and we could just have a walk and have a chat and whatnot? And hopefully Josh will say, yeah, that's great. Or you might say, no, I'm not. I'm busy Saturday. And so Cam will say, oh, no, we'll find another time. And anyway, Cam will work out a way to be able to catch up with Josh and actually start to form a relationship with him and actually start to develop that. You ready, Josh? Are you ready for a relationship?
Ready.
A friendship relationship.
Nah, it's 2019, Maddie. Come on. Just friends. And so that happens. So say Josh says, yep, and so maybe Cam gets a couple of the guys and says, look, I'm catching up with one of the guys from Jesse Plans. Could we do a bushwalk on Saturday morning? So we all go along and have a chat, and Cam's able to talk to Josh, and he makes a point of talking to Josh and says, where are you up to? What are you up? Oh, do you know what would be great for you, Josh? It would be great for you to come along to church. Can I pick you up for church tomorrow morning, and could you come along? And Josh says, oh yeah, all right, I'll do that. And then Josh comes to church and meets the young adults, and we say, hey, we've got this social event. Would you be able to come along to that? And so Josh is suddenly now he's becoming part of the community, but Cam's always there, and Cam is very aware of this process here, all these next steps. So if I click on that one, you can see there's a whole heap of next steps here. And Cam is very aware of things like from just curious to following Jesus to just starting the journey. And Cam is starting to get to know Josh, and he's thinking, oh, Josh is following Jesus. You know what Josh needs? He needs to do some teaching on just beginning the journey. So this is what we've put together, the new adventure page. So you guys will get to have a look through this. And he says, Josh, so he catches up with Josh next week. So mate, there's this resource called Your New Adventure, where it's just 7 days of basic Bible teaching to help you learn what it's all about. Each day is just a 5-minute message. He's like, it would be really great for you to. Could we walk through that together? You and I. Could we do this 5 minutes each day, and I'll send you a message and see what you think about it. And so Cam is helping Josh to put himself in that disciple cycle. Now at the same time, we've all met Josh at church, and added him on Facebook, and so I know that, hey, Cam's following up Josh, but I'm part of the community. I'd love to help him. So I send out a message and say, hey guys, on Saturday night, would anyone like to go to the movies? And we add Josh in that. So Josh is becoming part of community. He's connecting in with community, but Cam is specifically helping Josh to see where he is in this cycle of next steps, and helping him to take the next step that's gonna help him. Does that sort of make sense? So that's sort of the overview of that process. Now, the end goal.
Can I just add something there? We were talking before. Sometimes people think, oh, I'm like a discipler, or I'm a mentor of that. You're not actually. That's not the role we're asking you to take on. Is like his mentor. I'll be like his wise companion. Ooh. I'm just
Call me Sensei, Josh.
Wax on.
Yeah, and it's not so. All we're asking someone to come alongside and just encourage them in the next step and moving. So you don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have everything that's part of that. You just have to be there and understanding, how can I help them along that journey? Now, obviously, they'll have questions, and you can be the one answering them. You can have a coffee, and they say, I don't understand this whole Bible thing. How can you trust it? And you can give answers, or you can say, neither do I really, but let me just show you where. if I go to Just Curious, there's a thing about where do we get the Bible, and we can watch that together, and it'll explain a little bit about why we trust it like we do and things like that. So you're not thinking, well, I'm making them my disciple. No, what you're doing is coming alongside them to help them as a fellow disciple. Okay, you're a disciple, they're a disciple, and you're going to help them take that move along.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
As Caleb said, it's not just you. The whole community works together.
Is it like a dating setup service? So if you're at the phone, you're like, single, such and such age. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we have the man for you?
We've got a system. We've got a swipe right, swipe left system.
We made it a nice restaurant.
And we didn't say the very end of that process was that Josh became a missionary and saves 4 billion people. So and changed his relationship status. Give him a hand. From hating Christians, what a turnaround!
Yeah. Wow.
Amazing. So what we're going to do now is just basically step you guys through sort of the nuts and bolts of those 3 phases. So effectively, there's pardon me, in what we just described, there's
Go to settings.
where's my setting? Oh, it's gone. I fixed it. Just
Well done.
bulking it. Effectively, what we described, this follow-up response process has 3 phases. So phase 1 is the altar call response. That's when they actually respond live in that moment. There's the opportunity in that time for I said live ministry, which basically is the opportunity to potentially pray with them and that sort of thing. So there will be potential for people to be involved in that moment by working with Dad, being in that room, being able to be there for people, and because people will be emotional. People might say, "I need healing. I need emotional healing. Whatever." Just an opportunity to pray with people, to talk with them, and that sort of thing. Phase 2 is the first response phone call. So that's where an opportunity for people to be involved, just going through and phoning people basically and saying, going through a list of questions, where are you at, and then at the end of that being able to point them in the right direction. Hopefully that right direction is to phase 3, which is the personal connection, which was Cam's job in the last one, which is not a mentor, it's not a coach, but it's a buddy just to help guide them to their next step, really. Just to help come alongside them and say, hey, here's a next step for you to take. Just a buddy, sorry Josh, an encourager. Yeah, exactly. And someone who's able to work through that next steps process. And then I said phase 4 is the end game. Or is that phase? Sorry, I don't know, that was a Marvel reference. So, so what we're going to do now is just basically go through what are involved in each of those 3 phases. And we'll do a bit of role playing, a bit of that. Not like in what we're doing here, no one is obliged that you have to do anything, but we would love people as much as we can to, obviously to be involved. And obviously,
and being a part of the role playing training doesn't mean you have to do that. After Jesse, we just want everyone to be exposed to the training, and as many as people can say, I'd like to. At least you feel you've been through it, you've got a feeling for what it is, and that way we can, if we ask you and you say yes, it's because you know what it said. We're also recording it, as we see, and there's others that can't make it tonight. They will also receive this through the training of the